Howdy folks, welcome back to another episode of Super Hamster Plays Kingdom Death Monster. As ever, give me a thumbs up on this video, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well, so you don't miss any more of this series or my other series going forward. And it'll help me take over YouTube one subscriber at a time. So, since the last game, as I said I was going to do, I fought a battle against a level 2 lion off camera. Just try and push the campaign forward a bit. We did alright in that one. A few of the other characters picked up some pretty severe injuries, but they should be okay. There's a couple of gaping chest wounds, I think another hamstrung and something like that. I honestly can't remember if somebody died. I have a feeling they did, but I can't remember who it was. But we gained quite a lot of equipment out of it, and in the subsequent settlement phase we've made some more equipment, including quite a lot of the lion armor. We're just a pair of boots short of a full set on that one. We gained the paint innovation, which will allow our characters to dash, which I'm hoping is going to be quite helpful in this one. And what else did we do? Our event was a heat wave, and amongst other things, that means anybody departing in either fur armor or any armor and equipment that contains the keywords fur or heavy, which would basically be all the lion armor and the lion spear, would, at the end of gaining all bonuses, would have their survival reset to 0. Consequently, I'm leaving the spear at home today, which is a shame because it's a nice big chunky weapon, and this guy's going to be a bit of a problem, for we are facing the butcher, which, if you saw my video on assembling, he's a bit more painted than he was before. So yeah, the only person who does not have, or who has heavy and fur, is our old friend Meninga here, who we're sending out in fur armor because he doesn't have any survival anyway, and he's only going to gain 1 from departing. So yeah, we're facing the butcher. The random terrain I rolled is a dead monster, which was quite lucky, because there's some extra resources on the board. Obviously the butcher's been hunting nearby, near our settlement, and whilst he's busy carving that up, we've charged out to attack, and instead of the monster getting the first turn, the survivors can set up anywhere on the board and they go first. So I've taken this opportunity to take our bow character, who in this one is George, and he's exactly 6 squares away, so he's in range. We have Bobby here, who would normally have had the spear, but we've given him a sword today, and he's in a position to charge in the rear and fight. We have Fiona, who is our survivor wearing a full suit of rawhide armor, so that's going to help her stay alive a bit longer and hopefully get some regenerate some survival points and things with that one. And yeah, and there's Meninga, who's got the guitars and most of a set of lion armor, but will have no survival. But yeah, the dead monster's distracting, and if we can get over there we can hack it up and see if we can find some parts. The butcher's a bit different. There is no hunt. Essentially, before you get a chance to go out and hunt, he turns up and you have to go and sort him out. He has a couple of special rules. I've got his deck here. I've got his hit location deck here. The first one is fast target, which means basically at the, is it the start? Yeah, at the beginning of the monster's turn, reshuffle the entire hit location deck. So yeah, you could hit him anywhere. He has Berserker, which means he draws and plays 2 AI cards a turn, so he'll be moving twice as fast. He has this dreaded trophy one, which means if he starts killing people, he'll get stronger and stronger. And he has infectious lunacy, meaning if he inflicts brain trauma on any of our people, and he will, they slowly start to turn insane, and if they get 3 of these tokens, then they're triggered with frenzying, which gains them some benefits, but they can't use any of their survival points from that point on. One final point before we get started, survival points. Because of one of our settlement advances, I want to say it's ammonia, everybody's going to gain 1, except Meninga because of the heat wave. Bobby's already on full. That'll take George up to a full 3. That would take Fiona up to 2, but her boots and her gloves both give her 1, which would take her to 4. But our settlement limit is 3, so she'll be up to 3. And now we can get started. First thing I'm going to do is Meninga is going to consume his frenzy drink, which is going to make him frenzied, which is going to give him +1 strength and +1 speed. He's going to gain D5 insanity, and he can no longer spend the survival that he doesn't have. But that is his action for the turn, so that's him done. I could move, but I'm kind of liking him where he is, and you'll find out why pretty soon. Where are we? George is next. He's going to take some shots with his bow. So accuracy 7. He doesn't have any bonuses, so I need 7s to hit the butcher. 1 hit, 1 miss. Furious Gut. Butcher is knocked down. All survivors would gain 1 courage if we wound him. Our level 1 butcher, by the way, has a movement of 5 and a toughness of 9. So let's leave that there. With the bow strength of 3, I need a 6. Got a 6. So he's wounded. Good start. Butcher is knocked down. All survivors gain 1 courage. 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 While a monster is knocked down, all reactions are cancelled and all hit rolls succeed on a 3 or more. Right. Oh, that's almost a shame. I wish I hadn't gone in with Meninga's frenzy drink. Because 4 attacks with him hitting on 3s would have been nice. But anyway, Bobby in his headdress. What should we go with? 2 attacks from his bone sword, and they hit on 3s, so no point moving. Both hit. Let's move that one out of the way. Oh, that's an AI card. Furious Greaves. So it would be a reflex, but we'll ignore that. He gets +2 strength from his sword, needing 9, so 7s. Yep, there's another wound. And because he's knocked down, no reflex action for him. And the second hit, Furious Scrag. Oh, there's a critical on this one. What can we do with that? 6, 7, 8, not enough. If he's killed at this location, he's not. Okay, so nothing happened there. Fiona. Let's get stuck in with her sword. Hitting on 3s. 1 hit. And that is Furious Gauntlet. Again, no modifiers, so she's hitting on a 7. Yes. The attacker locks eyes with it. Oh no, we ignore that one. It's just a wound, isn't it? So that wasn't a bad start for us. Yeah, and I'm happy with where things have ended up. Marvellous. End of turn 1. That went well. Okay, I just noticed that I hadn't filled in the evasion stats and equipment stats. So both Fiona and Bobby have got 2 evasion, being these 2 characters here. One from the Rawhide Vest, which has got both a red and a blue on both of them, and they've both got a tub of monster grease. Give them another evasion, so they'll be a bit harder to hit. So, Butcher's turn. So the Butcher's going to stand up, because monsters stand up at the start of their turn. We need to shuffle his hit locations because of his fast target rule. And then we need to draw and resolve the first of his 2 what's the word I'm looking for? AI cards. So let's draw his AI card. And we have Wild Carve. Closest threat facing. So that's going to be Fiona. 2 attacks. Hitting on 4s with her evasion 2. That'll be hitting on 6s. Both missed. And there's no damage, so we can ignore that one. His second AI card. Kick. Pick a target, closest threat facing. That is going to be Fiona again, obviously, because nothing's changed. Move and attack target, doesn't need to move. And yeah, so 2 attacks hitting on 4s, 5s, 6s because of evasion, same as before. Both miss. Oh, we like that. Where are we? So the after damage doesn't take effect, and then after this, the Butcher pursues the target, perform his basic attack, or his basic action, which is pick a target, closest survivor in field of view. Could be anybody. Actually, it could be either of those 2, but it's closest, so we'll pick one in a minute. Speed 2, hitting on a 4, doing 1 damage, so he's just hitting them. We may as well stick with Fiona as she's tooled up. So again, hitting on 6s. Both hit. I'm going to spend a point of survival and dodge 1. So she spent a point of survival because of her rawhide armor. If I can roll a 6 or more, she gains a point back. She does. So she spends 1, gains 1, still on 3. So that's 1 miss. Let's find out where both locations dodge, and then we'll decide what will land. Both in the same place. We'll choose to dodge that one because no difference. And she's going to take 1 point of damage and gain a bleed token. So that's 1 in the body for Fiona. Dropping her down to 1 armor. That could have been a lot worse. And now we're back to the players. Okay, Meninga, it's time for you to do your thing. I'm going to spend his movement and his action to do a pounce action. This is a special rule of the White Lion coat that he's equipped with. It says spend your movement and your action, move 3 spaces in a straight line. I've checked the FAQ. That is only ever cardinal directions, so no diagonals. Then if you moved 3 spaces, activate a melee weapon with +1 strength. So we're going to jump 1, 2, or pounce 1, 2, 3. He normally has 4 attacks from the Katars. Because he's frenzied, we go up to 5 attacks. Yeah, so it's 5 attacks. They will be hitting on normally on 7s and no bonuses, so he hits on 7s. And he will be at +2 strength if he can land it. So 7s. Come on, 7s. 3. I can live with that. So first one, Armoured pig shoulder, super dense. If the attack attempts to wound this location with a frail weapon, it is destroyed. Archive the weapon at the end of the attack after all hit locations have been discarded. So we can still hit. I assume it doesn't say it's impervious or anything. So that will be normally wounding on a 6 because it's strength 3, but we've got 2 added to it. So that will be on a 3. It is on a 3, and I've just realised I should have had +1 accuracy for the lying gauntlets when you pounce. So we need a 3. That's a wound. Second attack. Overpower, trap, reshuffle the hit location deck. The butcher explodes in a burst of ferocity. Zone of Malice. The attacker is doomed. All survivors in the Zone of Malice gain 1 bleed token and suffer knockback 5. That's not great. So, he's doomed. Everybody is knocked back 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bleed token. So Fiona, and that would be and he then performs his basic attack, which as we know is pick his closest survivor, but that's this guy. He moves his 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he attacks him 2 dice, hitting on 4s. And Meninga doesn't have any bonuses, so it's going to be hitting on 4s. 1 miss, 1 hit in the chest. So that's 1 damage in the chest on Meninga. And he has a chest of 2, so that drops him down to 1. And where was it? After the target gains a bleed token. That's not a great start for Meninga. I'm just going to double check that knockback doesn't knock him down. I don't think it does unless he hits something, but I want to be sure. Nope, nothing in there about being knocked down, so that is that. Which explodes. Those perform based on a target is attacked. Does that block the rest of his attacks? I don't have many trap cards come up, so I need to look that up. Indeed it does. Which is a shame. But there you go. So, and we need to shuffle the hit location deck and carry on with our turns. Right. Fiona needs to do her thing. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hit him in the rear. Normally needing 7, she now needs 6s. 1 hit. Furious Grag. The death blow. If the butcher is killed at this location, well, he's not going to get killed, but if we're lucky, we can get a critical. Nope, but we do wound. I'll pick that one up. George is going to take his 2 shots, needing 7s. Not today. I was obviously aiming for this guy over here. And Bobby, what can we do with Bobby? Not a lot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because then he's in a position to go and have a look at the monster if it comes to that. So we're back to the butcher's turn. First things first. Shuffle his hit deck. Step 1. Butcher's Roar, all non-death survivors. So that's everybody. Intimidate all targets. Roll a d10 for each target. On a result of 4 or more, the target suffers 1 brain damage per monster level and is knocked down. Bobby. No. George. Yes. Fiona. Yes. And Meninga. Yes. So, where's my pencil? There it is. Meninga's brain damage is going to drop him to a 3. Neither Fiona nor George have any insanity at this point, so they'll gain an insanity token, as will Meninga for the infectious lunacy. And now we need to roll some damage for brain trauma. Bobby. 6. Danger seizure. You thrash around wildly, dealing 1 damage to yourself and every adjacent survivor. Gain a random disorder and D5 insanity. And who was the other one? Fiona, wasn't it? Yeah. 4. Flee. You are knocked down and suffer knockback equal to your movement towards the closest board edge. Gain D5 insanity. So she's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and gain D5 insanity. Oop, good catch. Fiona's insanity. She gains 1. George also gains some insanity. And that's what, 4. And what was his seizure? Oh, he takes damage to, was it each location? Do 1 damage. No, just 1 to himself. In the head. One place he's actually got some armor. So that's 2. And then a random disorder. So let's get the disorders deck out. Right, disorders deck. George. George, you are traumatized. Your experiences have left you shaken and paralyzed by fear. Whenever you end your act adjacent to a monster, you are knocked down. Well, that's not very helpful. At least at this point, he's our archer, so that could be worse. And somehow I think we're going to need this deck again, so I'll put it over there. And that was his first AI. What's his second? Hugh. Pick a target. Closest threat facing. Closest threat. So there's nobody facing, but he is a threat because these guys are all lying down, so they're not a threat. So he's going to go for him. And that would be 1 attack hitting on a 3, but it does 3 damage and bleed and bash. So now we know that Bobby here is the target. I'm going to spend 1 of his survival points to make a dash action. That drops him to 2. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. And that gets us out of range. So he'll then do his move and attack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But he's out of range. He does nothing. Survivors. So we're all lying on the floor. That's not a great start. First thing I think we're going to want to do is yell. So we'll start with Bobby, and we will encourage Fiona to stand up. So that's that. Do I then want to get stuck in? Yes, I think we do. So we'll move, we'll hit the butcher. 2 attacks, hitting on 7s, 6s, hitting on 6s. One hit in the location of his pig shoulder, and that's going to shatter his sword because it is indeed frail. So he still gets the yeah, after they're all discarded. So he still gets to do his hit. At least take the sword down with you. So this will wound on a 7. No. Shatters his sword. Goodbye, sword. Fortunately for me, I gave Bobby the founding stone as one of his items, so he's not completely defenseless. But that wasn't great. Fiona, what are we going to do with you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to spend an action to use her Rawhide Headband ability to look at the next 2 AI cards in the deck and then put them back in any order. We got Hack and Hack City. Well, neither of them look particularly nice, and he's going to get to do both of them anyway. I think we are going to go with Hack. Yeah, we'll go with Hack. No, we'll go with Hack City. Let's go for broke. So put Hack City on the top. And she's going to spend a point of survival telling Meninga to get up. Meninga. Oh, so that would drop her down to 2. Rawhide armor. Does she get it back? She does. She's still on 3. And I'm going to spend a point to get a dash action on her. And get her there as well. Does she get that back? No, she does not. So drops to 2. Yeah. So Meninga stood up, didn't he? He did. His actions. He has no survival and he can't use them anyway. But let's run. And we can then attack with our guitars. When he gets 2 attacks, he's not pound. Oh, he gets +1 speed from being frenzied and +1 strength. So it's 5 attacks, normally hitting on 7s in the rear, so he's hitting on 6s. 2. First location. Cleaver, impervious. The attacker's heart is frozen with dread. Attacker gains +1 insanity. This has been quite a traumatizing experience. And his second hit. The Butcher's Mask. So let's roll to wound. Normally strength 9, +3 from the guitars takes it to a 6. He's on +1 strength. So he needs a 5. No. And he doesn't have any points of encouragement. I got that in the wrong order. I should have told George to stand up, and then George should have told Meninga to stand up. Lessons learned. Okay, next turn. Our dear Butcher. It's Hack City. Who would have thought that? Closest threat in the facing. So it's going to be either Fiona or Bobby. They're both in the front. I'm going to choose Fiona, as she's got a lot more armour. So he gets 4 attacks, hitting on normally on 4s. She's got 2 evasions, so they are hitting on 6s. I'm going to spend a point of hers to dash. No, I'm not, because I can't get out of range, because he's as quick as we are. So no, we won't be doing that. So yeah, just let him hit us. 2 hits. It was 6s, wasn't it? It was. Normally hitting on 4s, 2 6s. Right. Hack City means for every hit, for each hit, make an additional hit. For each hit, make an additional attack roll. Continue to roll until all attack rolls miss. So we've got 2 hits, 3, 4 hits, 5 hits, 5 hits. That's not great. In the head, in the chest, in the hand, in the foot. And the 5th one would be also in the hand. And I'm doing 1 damage. So I'm not going to dodge any. Let's dodge the one in the body. So that would be 2 in the. It was 2 in the hands, wasn't it? Yeah. So there's 1 in the head. Where's my pencil? I put my pencil there. There it is. So that's 1 in the head. We're going to dodge the 1 in the body. Spending a survival. Do we get it back? No, we don't. Down to 1 survival. 1 in the waist. Both in the arms. So that wipes out her armor. And 1. In the legs. If the target survives Hack City, perform the Legendary Lungs event. Let's find the Legendary Lungs event. Right, here is the Legendary Lungs event. And it says, the sensation of the butcher's attack is similar to drowning. Desperately you gasp for air, only to be met with a mouthful of steel. The monster's attack rained down on you, each blow faster than the last. Despite the attack lasting only a moment, things slow down, or seem to slow down. You feel numb and isolated, as if trapped in an endless body of water. There is no hope of escape, just the pressure from the above on your gasping lungs. As the pounding on your chest intensifies, you recall the even rhythm of the monster's heaving chest. There is a chance you will learn something. Roll a d10. 5. You feel as if on the cusp of realizing something big. It teases your mind before vanishing. Gain 3 survival. So she's back up to 3. Yeah, could have been worse, could have been better. Either way, the fickle gods of fate have chosen. So that was Hack City. And now, funnily enough, it's Hack. Closest threat facing. So that's going to be one of the 2 in front. It's 2 attacks hitting on 4s, 6s. I'm going to go with Bobby this time. Work on the principle that one of these is going to miss with a 50-50 shot, and I can dodge the other. 1 hits, 1 misses. It's in the waist, which is one of the locations he does have armor, but it is going to inflict a bleed token, so instead we will dodge. And I forgot to re-roll his, or to shuffle his hit location deck, so I will do that now, and that's the end of his turn. And George will stand up, being the end of the monster's turn. and it's the start of the next survivor's turn. First things first. Let's bring Fiona round and hit him in the rear. So 2 attacks, hitting on 6s, in the rear hitting on 5s. No. Let's go with Meninga with his 5 attacks in the rear. So they will be hitting on, normally on 7s, 1 in the rear, hitting on 6s. And that's all 5. This could either go horrifically right or horrifically wrong. Right, so what have we got? First of 5. The Cleaver, impervious. The attacker gains 1 insanity. Second one. In the Butcher's Mask. Let's see if we can wound him, which would be a good thing. Strength 3, Strength 4. Alright, Strength 3, Strength 4. Yes. So, needing a 5. Yep. Wounded. The blow struck the Butcher, knocking it off balance. The Butcher staggers, gaining -2 toughness until the end of the round. We like that. So that's another wound. So that's 2. We've got 5 to go. I mean, we've got 3 to go. Next hit location. Thick Cape. Butcher's cape is decorated with shriveled, screaming faces. So he gets a reflex attack, which is a shame, but there you go. So we'll do the wound first. No. Reflex. The attacker rolls D10. If the result is greater than their courage, they suffer brain damage equal to the monster's level. It is. So he gains brain damage equal to a level 1, which drops him down to 4. And that causes him to gain a 2nd point of insanity. The Ferocious Gut. Doesn't wound. Oh, hang on a second. Because he's at -2 toughness, isn't he, from that one? So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That does it. Wound. The Butcher is knocked down. All attackers gain 1 courage. Another courage. Another courage. Another courage. And another courage. And the final hit. +2 toughness on this location, so that's going to cancel out. So let's roll to wound. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. +2, -2. So it is a wound. So we need to shuffle that. However, Lantern Explosion. If the roll to wound is a Lantern 10, it is not. Okay, so that doesn't trigger, but he does lose another wound. Ding, 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 ding. Well, that was a good turn. Right, and George has yet to go, and Bobby has yet to go. Well, let's get George to fire his bow. 2 shots. Normally would be hitting on 7s, but because he's knocked down, they're hitting on 3s. Both hit. First, Furious Shoulder. He's knocked down. There are no reflex actions. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Strength 3, so it's 9. That's another wound. And the second hit hits the cleaver, no damage. But he gains 1 insanity. So he's up to 5 insanity. We've got a lot of crazy people now. Now, George. With George, do we want to go through that location, you know, the dead thing, or do we want to get in with his founding stone? They are hitting on 3s, and that is a big opportunity to waste. So I think we're going to attack. So 2 dice, hitting on 3s. 1 hit, 1 miss. Hits in the Van braces. Fortunately, he's knocked down, so there is no reaction. And it's only strength. Where's it gone? Strength 1. So he's going to need an 8. But he's got it. And then he's going to step back. And that's the end of the player's turn. Alright, Butcher's turn. He's going to stand up. So we can face that way. We need to shuffle his hit location deck. And then he'll get his first of 2 actions. Hack City. Closest threat in facing. So that would be dear Bobby. And he's then going to move and attack. Before he does that, I'm going to spend a point of survival, which is Bobby's last, in order to dash. One, two, three, four, 5. Right. It's not really come into play before because we didn't really have anything that was worth doing it for, but we've now got this dash. Whenever you see there's a monsters card, doesn't show up very clearly. In the AI cards, there's sections. So you have, in this case, the pick a target section. Then there's a line with an arrow on it. Whenever you get to that line, there's a brief pause in the game where you can spend, or the survivors can spend survival. So now that he's picked his target, and his target was Bobby, before he actually gets to move, Bobby can react. In this case, he's running away. So the Butcher will now go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't reach him. He can't. Or the rest of his attacks hit, or don't hit rather. The rest of his attacks miss. Next one. Wild card. Pick target. Closest threat facing. So he's going for Bobby this time, and he can't get out of the way. So 2 attacks, hitting on 4s. Bobby has evasion 2, so hitting on 6s. 1 hit, 1 miss. Doing 1 damage. Bobby is all out of survival, so it's going to be in the foot. Point of damage in the foot, he has none. That will be a light wound. And then he suffers another bleed token. So that's him on 2. All survivors adjacent to the monster at the end suffer 1 monster adjacent to the monster suffer 1 damage to a hit location, a random hit location, and a bleed. It's in the chest. He has a point of armor in the chest, so he's going to take 1, but he is going to take another bleed token, which isn't great. What are you doing? He's got 4 wounds left. And that's the end of his turn. So we're back to the survivors. start with... Actually, let's start with Meninga. So he's going to run up and stab him in the back with his 5 guitar, hitting on normally on 7s. In the rear, he's now hitting on 6s. 3. Cleaver, first one misses. Second one, in the mask, can we wound? So he's strength +1, +3 from the weapons. He's adding 4, so he needs 5s. Nope. And the final one, the Furious Gut. Can he wound? Oh, there is a failure reaction on the mask, sorry. The Butcher effortlessly shoves the attack away. Full move towards the attacker. If the Butcher ends its movement adjacent to the attacker, they suffer knockback 5. We'll turn and face him, and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So just shoved him out of the way, which means that one will miss. Yeah, it's okay. Right. It's our bow guy. He can shoot him now, needing 7s. 1 hit, 1 miss. Thick cape. And we wound him with +3 to the rolls. We need 6. Nope. After the attack, reflex. The attacker rolls a d10. If greater than his courage, he suffers brain damage equal to the monster's level. So is it higher than his courage, which is 2? It is. So that will drop his insanity down to 4. And he'll gain another lunacy token. Well, Bobby, I think, is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is Bobby, isn't it? Yes. And I'm now going to investigate the dead monster. So this is a single d10 roll, and we want high. Higher is good. 5. What are we going? 5. 1 random basic resource. Archive the terrain. So we're going to gain a basic resource from the end of that. We can remember that. Actually, let's write it down on this thing. +1 basic resource. And then finally, let's bring Fiona into play there. And we'll have a look using her rawhide helmet. Have a look at the next 2 cards in the deck, of which there's only 1. So we need to shuffle these, put them on the bottom. And he's going to have the Butcher's Roar and Hack City. Let's go with Hack City first. And that's the survivor's turn. So first things first for the Butcher, re-roll his hit locations. We already know he's down to 3 cards. Your camera's getting weird again. Let's reset that. Right, so the monster's turn. What could this card possibly be? It's Hack City. Closest threat in facing is Fiona. Before he does anything, I'm going to spend 1 of her survival points to make a dash move. Let's see if she gets it back. She does. Spends 1, gains 1. And then she can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the Butcher can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that right? Did he catch her? That doesn't seem right. Let me check the footage. No, I'm an idiot. Back here somewhere I moved him 2 spaces and only counted 1. So he ends his turn there, or he ends his action there, and Hack City does nothing. And then he has his Butcher's Roar. All non-death survivors roll a d10. On a 4+, they suffer 1 brain trauma. So, start at the top. Bobby. He does, which is going to be an injury. That was the one where they knocked down as well, isn't it? So we'll do that now. George with his bow. Yes. Fiona. Yes. And Meninga. Yes. So it's going to drop him to 3. It's going to drop Fiona to 0. It's going to drop Meninga to 3. They are all going to gain insanity tokens, and Bobby is going to gain a roll on the table. I feel like that's a good one. Flee. You are knocked down and suffer knockback equal to the monster, equal to your movement towards the closest board edge. Gain D5 insanity. So that was Bobby, wasn't it? We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Crawling away there, and he will gain D5 insanity. He'll gain 4. And a lunacy token. But before we get that far, George and Meninga are on 3 lunacy tokens, which means when you suffer blah 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 blah, when you have 3 or more lunacy tokens, remove all and suffer the frenzy brain trauma. So George is now frenzied, and Meninga, who is already frenzied, is frenzied again. But I have checked, and you can indeed gain multiple copies of frenzy. And that's the Butcher's second turn, or end of his second action. And there is, yeah, that's him done. Human turn. Nobody can do anything because they're all lying down. Yeah, so back to the Butcher's turn. So what's he got left? He has his Wild Carve. Closest threat in facing. There isn't anyone. Closest threat. There aren't any. No target. He will menace. What does menace do? Turn the Butcher to face the closest survivor. The survivor suffers 1 brain damage per monster level. Well, the closest survivor is probably Fiona, who's on 0, or we could direct it at George. They're both 1, 2, 3. No, it is Fiona, isn't it? Yeah, so Fiona is going to take 1 brain trauma, which buys her a roll on the table. 7. Lunacy. Gain a random disorder and D5 insanity. Gaining 3 insanity. And I knew we were going to need that disorder. But she also gains a lunacy token. And where did I put the disorders? Here are the disorders. Oh, Fiona, what kind of bats have you got escaping from your belfry? I can't even say this one. Coprolia, blah blah blah. You have compulsive tics in the form of sporadic muttering, cursing, whimpering and screaming. All your gear is now noisy. You are always a threat unless you are knocked down, even if the effects say otherwise. Coprolalia. I think that's how it's pronounced. Right, so she is always a threat. And that was his first action. So let's go with his second. And it is a wild carve. Closest threat. There is no threat because she's lying down. Closest threat. Closest threat facing, there isn't one. Closest threat, there isn't one. So he's menace. So he's going to shout at her again. Which was just closest survivor suffers 1 brain damage. Fortunately, she's already gone a bit loopy. So that will just knock her down to a 2. But it does knock her into insanitary territory. Gaining 1 strength, 1 speed, but no longer able to spend those lovely survival points. And that's the end of his turn, so everybody stands up. Right, so Bobby's the only one who's still sane. And by sane I just mean not a lunatic, because he is technically insane. In fact, Fiona's the only one insane, but she's very, very angry. So, what are we going to do? I think we'll start with Meninga, who's going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and do his multiple punches in the back. And thanks to his double frenzy, he's now got 6 attacks, which, thanks to hitting in the blind spot, will be hitting on 6s, and the camera's being weird again. So, okay, camera fixed. Miss, miss, miss. 3 hits, 3 misses. What we got? Furious Greaves. Reflex action, he's going to move towards him. Don't move if already adjacent, so he doesn't do anything. Strength 3 from the guitars, 2 strength tokens, so it's +5. Toughness 9, needs a 4. Yes. 1 wound. Second attack. Furious Crown. Butcher lashes out wildly, clearing a path for itself. All survivors adjacent suffer bash. Full move towards the furthest survivor. Okay, so let's do that one. Also wounds. But now everybody suffers bash. What is bash? Does that just mean we're not down? Or bash, 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 bash. Cause survivors to be knocked down. So he's knocked down, and then he will make full move towards the furthest survivor. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And being knocked down, of course, will end Meninga's go. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So well out of range there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fiona is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and is going to hit him in the rear. 2 attacks, hitting on a 6 with. Oh, she's got. Because she's angry now. We're up to 3 attacks, hitting on 5s because of the blind spot rule. 2 hits. First hit. Furious Gauntlet. She's strength 2 from the sword, +1 for being frenzied, so she will hit on 6s. Yes. That's his last one. And last hit. Come on, come on. Is impervious, the cleaver. Alright. Bobby. What can you do? 2, 3. You're not insane, and you have a founding stone. I could just throw the founding stone and get an automatic critical, but that could be an impervious location which would miss, so yeah, let's hit. So using our founding stone, we need to hit on 7s. 1 hit. It's his mask. Right. Knocked down, off balance. Right. He's only strength 1 from the founding stone, so I need an 8. And that'll do it. So that would kill him. The blow shocks the butcher, knocking him down. Nothing weird happens. We've killed the butcher. And I have to say, that was far less traumatic than I was expecting. And I mean far more less traumatic. As well as the campaign here on YouTube, I'm running one at my local game group. And we've just faced the butcher, and he slaughtered us. We defeated him in the end, but 2 people died and the other 2 picked up some pretty hefty injuries. So I was expecting more of the same, which is why I'd sent out probably my 4 most expendable characters. And they got the job done, which in no small part was down to some pretty good luck. With the dead monster and all, allowing us to get the initial charge in. Alright, I'm going to clear up some of this mess, and then we'll have a look at the aftermath of this particular battle. Okay, so victory. The butcher is an inspiration. Any victorious survivor may immediately select the axe weapon proficiency, regardless of age milestones. Any accrued ranks of weapon proficiency are lost when switching to a new proficiency. Well, considering that Bobby shattered his sword, I'm thinking I'm going to give him the axe ability. But everyone else, see, she's got sword. Or she hasn't got anything yet. Meninga's got sword. I think we'll leave that for now. And George doesn't have anything. Do we want to go with more axes? Or are we going to turn George into a second archer? No, let's go with George and give him. Although he's got traumatized and he doesn't want to get close, and she's always a threat. So, and we don't have many axes yet. So no, let's go with Bobby. Bobby's gained axe proficiency. Right, everybody gains 1 hunt XP. Everybody gains 1 weapon proficiency level, except nobody's gained any, or they gain 1 axe proficiency level. No, they gain an axe proficiency level per level of the butcher, which is only a level 1. But nobody actually accrued any damage with their chosen weapon, so nobody gets anything. And then we gain the rewards. So first things first, our dead monster that gave us a basic resource token. Card. and we managed to scavenge an inability to shuffle. But in doing so and overcoming such things, we have gained a monster organ. Meh. And then we roll a d10 on the butcher's reward table down here and add the butcher's level to it. So we're adding 1. It's a 3. The butcher vanishes in a flash of blinding light. We gain nothing. And that's it. So that's it as far as rewards go. But this being a special survival event, you see that? I do that there. Here we are in the special showdown. We roll back round to the update death count. Did anybody die? No, they did not. We proceed to the check milestone events. Has anybody triggered any milestones? Not courage, not age, not courage, not age, not age. Meninga has triggered bold. So let's look up bold. Bold. When did he gain it? He gained it in the showdown. So he becomes stalwart. Meaning he can't be knocked down by brain trauma or intimidation. And then we roll a d10. 9. Gain 1 permanent strength. Strength is there, +1. So that's his bold event. So we'll take that off. That's the only other milestone that's been triggered. Develop. I can't remember if we had anything left on our resources. We've got some iron, we've got some broken lanterns, but that's it. So we don't have anything we can do. We've got a monster organ, which I think we'll save for the next encounter. And then we need to prepare our departing survivors. So we can send this lot off once again. Or we can pick some more. But that I will do at the start of the next video. Which will be a hunt probably for another white lion. Because I really want to finish off that suit of armor to get all the benefits from that set. So yeah, that's probably what we're going to do in the next one. Whether it's a level 1 or a level 2, I'm not sure yet. So you'll have to watch the next episode to find out. Okay, so thanks for watching this video. Hopefully it was entertaining. I can assure you from what I've read online and personal experience with our board game group's encounter with the butcher, that went about as perfect as such an encounter can go. We picked up a couple of mental disorders and we lost the sword. I can live with that. I can live with that on so many levels. Nobody's dead, nobody's missing any limbs. That all went according to plan. So thanks for watching. As ever, do me a favour, hit the thumbs up button on this video, and if you haven't already, click the little hamster down here to subscribe to the channel as well. Help me take over YouTube 1 subscriber at a time. And I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Bye bye.